welcome to a new show exclusive for YouTube. It's called The Bunny PerSermon. It's uploaded right after the newest review over on Blip, which you can watch by clicking on the comments down there. So let's do it. All rise! This week's episode is about 3 documentaries, and one of them I talk about is The Aristocrats, a documentary about the most offensive joke in the world. In the review, I describe it as a journey joke, and I promised that I would give you guys an example. Well, here it is. The clown joke. If you hang out in our live stream, and if you don't, why not, you antisocial bro, you might have heard this joke before. Well, this is how I tell it. This is the story of a boy who went to a circus. Now, this is no ordinary circus, but not because it was like super crazy Willy Wonka circus. That would be like a very different joke. No, it wasn't ordinary because it was very, very popular, but everything about it was subpar. The lion was underfed, the ringmaster was boring and kind of quiet, and the trapeze act was all murdered but the son, who was adopted by a wealthy millionaire. So why was it popular then, I can hear yourselves asking? Well, it's because they had the best insult comic clown in the world. The boy would join some 8,000 people in a tent waiting through all the boring and poorly executed acts before the clown stepped out onto the stage. Now, this clown only told one joke, and it was always an insult, and it was always the funniest thing the crowd would hear the rest of the year. People came from miles. Now, I know what you might be thinking, so I bet he just picks a weird-looking dude every time and cheats that shit. Well, you're wrong. So every night, his assistant in the top of the tent would spin the spotlight across the crowd and pick a random person. So the lights went down, and everyone held their breath. Boy, his mind wandering, thought perhaps it might be fun for the spotlight to hit him, to have that one moment when everyone would see him. And then, just as the thought left his mind, he felt the warm spotlight on his face. I'm not gonna tell you the joke. I lack the sophisticated timing and diction to retell the insult joke and do it any justice. More to the point, after the joke landed, the audience was a roar of laughter. The boy was devastated. He peed his pants. The clown was always the last act, and as the rest of the circus came out for curtain call, the audience, still laughing at the insult, began to stand up and leave. Now, most children, the boy was 7 at this point, would have remained devastated. But not this little boy. He was silent until his parents, who also laughed at him, put him in their car. The boy made his pledge. I'm gonna get that clown. So from then on, the boy studied. He watched every old comedy he could, from the Marx Brothers to W.C. Fields. He was watching Chaplin and the Three Stooges, practicing the stunts of the Golden Age's slapstick. He didn't stay there long, as he memorized and recited stand-up comedy ranging from Bill Cosby to Lenny Bruce, learning timing and delivery, memorizing the topics hardly spoken of and talked about far too often. He was reading large histories of jokes, joke books, comic strips, anything that made people laugh to themselves, learning more and more how to amuse people. By the age of 14, he was already doing stand-up comedy at local open mics. Sure, it was hard for a young comic to get in, but if Bill Hicks could do it, then so could the boy. He began headlining clubs now. The boy had a damned gift for comedy. Again, ironically, since I am right now telling a joke, I am still unable to repeat the boy's material. More so that I am afraid that it will tarnish in your minds how perfect it truly was. As I said, the boy had a gift. When he got out of high school, by the way, he was the sort of class clown that had the teacher laughing right along with the students. He enrolled in clown college. He learned musical instruments, how to throw pies, and ride unicycles. He was the best damn clown they ever left that college, and he will never be matched. Soon enough, he was in movies, but none of this middle-of-the-road summer comedy garbage like you get with your Jack Blacks or your Larry the Cable Guys. He was in comedies that lasted. Each one of his films had critical and box office success. The boy was now a young man, and he was a famous young man. He began doing world tours, his comedy reaching hundreds of nations. He researched and often lived in other countries long enough to truly relate to their humor. He was knighted. The Dalai Lama let him tickle his belly. He punched Kim Jong-il. The boy was now a man, a famous man, an extremely famous man. A man who decided to be the greatest talk show host ever. He was against Leno and Letterman and blew them both out of the water. His late night show homaged and innovative and became the most highly rated show ever. The first comedy to beat the Super Bowl. Now the man was a legend. The man was an old man. He sat in his mansion one day thinking, and to himself he whispered, "It's time to go get that clown." So again, I know what you're thinking. Surely after 70 plus years that circus is long gone. Well, you are wrong! The circus was even more famous than ever before! Its sickly lion was replaced with a dang zoo! The ringmaster was now Penn Jillette! And the dead-ass family of trapeze artists was replaced with one of those round cages things with the... You got the motorcycles in there and they spin around and shit, you know what I'm saying? Like a couple guys doing stunt motorcycle stuff in a round cage, and it's like... Pew, pew, pew. See that... It was on the Simpsons. Homer did it. He did that on the Simpsons. I don't know what you call that. You call that round cage motorcycle death trap thing. I don't know what you call that shit. But all that was there because the insult comic clown was still working. The legend knew he had to be in disguise. He knew this was working when a guy bumped into him, spilled his drink on his own coat, and then the guy yelled at him. Yeah, that fake mustache totally worked. So finally, the feats and animals and magic of the circus was all over. And at last, there was the insult comic clown. The boy, the man, the legend felt the hairs on the back of his neck rise. This was it. But now there was surely over 20,000 people. There was no way that spotlight would hit him. The legend was not worried. He was ready. Ready to get this clown once and for all. The lights went down. The spotlight turned on with a loud click. Suddenly the music began and the light darting crossed the audience. Suddenly the music started and the light began darting across the audience. The legend could see it on the other side of the crowd. A doubtful man would have given up, but as the music stopped, he felt something. He felt the familiar warm light. And like the finger of God, he was picked again after so many years. And out of so many people, the boy, the man, the legend sprung to his feet, pointing at the clown. And before the clown could think, before the clown could even see who he picked, the legend shouted for all to hear, "Jump, you stupid fucking clown!" You get it?
All my friends are dead and they don't like me anymore. They moved along, they've changed, and now they find me quite a bore. Way back then it was okay to be a little weird, but all my friends are dead and some have even grown a beard.
Wife says to her husband, "You're a schmuck." If there was a contest for the biggest schmuck in the whole town, no, scratch that, the whole city, no, the whole state, there's a contest for biggest schmuck in the whole country, the whole hemisphere, the whole world, you would get second. And the husband says, "Second? Why would I get second?" And the wife says, "Because you're a schmuck."
Mo bovine.